Galaxy 2's here. And you know what that means? More space battles, more crew, and third of all, most importantly, and some of my personal favorite, more Infinity Stones. What? Wait, there's no Infinity Stones at all? Okay. We still have Thanos, right? No Thanos. So, what do we have in this movie?
When we're all alone, keep it up, girl.
Get down with this.
Turn me on. What kind of feeling? I'm high on believing.
Hey everybody, this is Glacier Manhatten. Sorry about the delay for the Guardians of the Galaxy 2 review. I'm doing it now. Pretty much, I was doing the shoot, and I'm having a little, you know, with the start of a channel and its first video, there may be a couple of bumps. My big bump in the road was my DSLR camera was out of focus for all of my footage. I decided, all right, why not just do this one on my webcam, and we'll just work from there. And then the next review, which should be Alien Covenant, pretty much that's how that's gonna work. I'll do it on the DSLR there, and everything should work out pretty well. So, without further ado, let me just get started with the review. I went to go watch Guardians of the Galaxy 2, and honestly, I had a lot of fun, which is something I could always say about a Guardians movie. I'm a big space person. I love sci-fi, especially the space genre. So, anything that comes to space is something I'm always going to enjoy. And this had everything you wanted in a space odyssey flick. It had, of course, had your space battles, it had action, it had different races, it had all kinds of things, everything that you would want. Especially it being a sequel to an already successful movie, in my opinion. I'd actually go out and say that this was a solid sequel as far as it comes to sequels, just because I know a lot of Marvel sequels, they don't always deliver. Either something feels like it's missing, or there may just be too much in one movie. Either way, I didn't feel that way with Guardians of the Galaxy 2. It felt very fluid, it felt very fresh, and it felt like it was a continuation off of Guardians of the Galaxy. And something that I liked about this one was that this Guardians didn't feel like it was setting up for another sequel. You knew that there was more to come because Marvel's been setting this up for years and years on end, but this felt like its own standalone movie. I'm gonna throw this right now, just mild spoilers. I may drop something, I may not. I know towards the end I will say here's where the spoilers are concerned, and we'll move on from there, and pretty much I'll go into spoilers. And you know, if you don't want to see the spoilers, just shut the video off there or just go towards the end. I'll probably put a link, or at least a little time code, where you can fast forward ahead to my closing or my last remarks and my ultimate opinion, like as far as the grading system is concerned. In any case, what I like about the movie, I like the characters. A big thing for me with movies is that if the characters are boring, you're probably gonna lose me. They picked up right where they left off in the second Guardians movie. Star-Lord gets a lot of character development here. His character is definitely changed from when he first started. He's looking for answers in regards to his father. Of course, as we see in the trailers, he does find his father. And from there, you know, he comes to his own conclusions about who he is as a person and where he takes it from there. Gamora has a lot of good character development too, especially in regards to her sister Nebula, which she was the one of the villains in the last movie, and now she's kind of come in and confronting her sister on a lot of issues that have been deep-seated since even before the Guardians movies began. You could tell, and you could kind of get the feeling that they were torn sisters who really just despised each other because of their father, Thanos. I liked Drax and Mantis. Their chemistry together on screen was really funny. It was very cute. It had a very father-daughter vibe. As fatherly as Drax can be, we actually get to see what Drax was when he was a father before he lost his family. Of course, Groot. Everybody loves Groot. For me, I think my biggest thing was that Groot, in the beginning of the movie, and I'm talking like the opening credits, everybody was kind of doing their own thing, and Groot was doing what Groot does best as a kid. But for some reason, it just felt either too much or just a little off. If they did it differently, I don't really have an answer to how they would do it differently, but that's essentially my thoughts on that. So I guess now I'll move to the spoilers. So if you don't want to see spoilers, just skip ahead. I'll put the time code right here, and you're more than welcome to skip ahead, or if you just want to see this face and just keep on trucking, by all means, go for it. So as for the spoilers, Yondu ends up dying sadly in this movie, which for me was really sad because he was one of my favorite characters. I liked his attitude. I just liked his entire relationship with Star-Lord, kind of being this father that Star-Lord never really knew he wanted, but he ended up getting. And when he finally figures it out, he's like, yeah, you're a great dad, despite, kidnapping me and trying to, always threatening to eat me. And, but in the end, he was toughening him up, and he was just trying to do the best that he could with what he had. In many ways, I guess you could say that Yondu and Star-Lord, they reminded me a lot of Jim Hawkins and Captain Silver and Treasure Island. Or, if you guys watch Treasure Planet, it's kind of the same dynamic. It was just interesting. And to see Yondu go, especially leaving the Guardians of the Galaxy, especially after joining the Guardians of the Galaxy at the end of the film, was really sad. And for me, Yondu will definitely be missed. He was one of my favorite characters in the Guardian franchise. Our villain of the story was Ego, Star-Lord's father. To me, I didn't really, because I know a lot of people when they jump into movies, especially when they saw Ego, they're like, oh yeah, he's the villain. He's going to be the villain of the story. For me, I didn't see that. I went in, pretty much my mind was blank. I turned my brain off and I was like, all right, I'm going to watch this. I'm going to see how it goes. I actually liked Ego's character. He was very funny. He was very charismatic, which helped him win Star-Lord over. And when he finally unveils his big plan, which it was interesting. This Ego's pretty much, for those who don't know, is a living planet. His big plan is to pretty much, he doesn't want to be alone. He's been alone for most of his life, for the eons that he's been alive. And he just wants to feel whole. And this purpose that he has made himself believe is that if he takes the entire galaxy, and with these seeds he's planted throughout the different planets that he's gone to, he's hoping to create other Ego planets, creating more of himself and combining them all into one big universe of him, killing off everybody on every planet, absorbing them into himself so he doesn't have to feel like he's alone anymore. They made you feel bad for Ego a little bit towards the beginning of the movie, but of course, he's the bad guy. There is the line that we kind of have to draw, and the line is pretty heavily drawn, especially as Ego continues on his plan. He's just like, oh yeah, I went around to like all these different planets and I had tons of sex with a lot of amazing women, and your mom, she was like the best one, but in the end it just wouldn't have to be. And I'm not gonna go too much else into, I did put that this was major spoilers, but I'm gonna leave that bit there so you can understand why the line was drawn. If you want to figure out what that is, go watch the movie. In fact, go watch it twice. That's what I have to say. How this movie went, I liked it. So there are a lot of Easter eggs in here. One of which being my favorite, Howard the Duck. I was talking to a friend while we were in the movies, and I was like, please, I want another Howard the Duck scene. Howard the Duck's really funny. He's this extra-dimensional duck who pretty much was taken out of his world through a portal and pretty much landed in the Marvel Universe. And he's essentially a PI. He goes around solving crimes or doing odd jobs that nobody really wants to do. So it was kind of nice to see him again. Then of course, there's the Stan Lee cameo, which connects all the Stan Lee cameos. They come out and say that Stan Lee is pretty much the herald of the Watchers. He's the one who goes out there and he's looking and watching at everything that's going on. He talks to the Watcher. He tells him all the stories, and that's how the Watcher gets his information, which I liked. It was really cool to see that. Stan Lee has now been cemented into the Marvel Universe. He's no longer just the creator. He's been watching it the entire time. He's been watching it with his own eyes, which, pardon the cliche, is slightly poetic. So my final verdict for Guardians of the Galaxy 2, when I left the theaters, I put it at an 8. but after just letting it sit and mull over, I ended up giving it a 9 out of 10. I really like this film. I'd recommend anybody to watch it 1 or 2 more times. It definitely has a rewatchability to it. Till then, I'll see you guys on the next review. Thank you for watching and have a good Sunday.